Two words, toxic positivity, and it is all over the gaming journalism space. Let's go and talk about toxic positivity and the cope that is Highguard and the whole situation around that. Now, Arch, you have not played the game. Blabs and I both have played the game, and we both thought it was the most average, run-of-the-mill game with a gun ever. Not a whole lot of positivity around it, but that has not stopped the gaming journalist from letting them know that this is the greatest game ever. And I wanted to pull up this video from Legendary Drops and just watch the first like 90 seconds of it, because the cope that we're seeing when it comes to Highguard is some of the most insane cope I may have ever seen. I've been in this industry for 20 years. I've never seen anything like Highguard before. I've seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And Highguard is so unique in that it came out with such a buzz, 100,000 people playing it, and then it was dead 6 hours later. But let's go and pay attention to what he has to say here just for like a minute.
Can we please stop this? I am having a really hard time seeing the difference between article and advertisement this week. Highguard has to be the biggest cope that I have ever seen. At least the biggest one that I've seen yet. You have players that are dragging the game through the mud, deservedly so. Meanwhile, you have journalists and others that are hand-waving those criticisms, saying that it's all just a hate campaign. It's a culture war. You haven't played the game enough yet. You need to play it longer before you're actually allowed to have a valid opinion. Don't you understand? It's redefining shooters, even though I'm pretty sure we have plenty of definitions for a game like this. The reception for this game is being treated like it's some kind of anomaly. For what feels like the 100th time by now, we have writers and developers that are gaslighting themselves and the developers of this game to believe that none of this is real. I don't understand. What is with this obsession with the players being wrong? Why do you need them to be wrong? They played it. They reviewed it. They didn't like it. They left. That's it. That's end of story. It doesn't go much further than that. Highguard just isn't a good game. I can just say it plainly here. You could make the argument that it has some good ideas, sure, but none of those ideas are actually finished, a lot like the game itself. The game is hammered by performance issues. The guns feel absolutely terrible to use in most cases. The map design is just, how does that even get past even just the concept phases? You're running around in wide open spaces doing absolutely nothing. The game is just so damn boring. A game like this doesn't release this unfinished or in this kind of shape unless the developers are protected and sheltered from real criticism.
You're muted.
I encourage you guys to go check out the entire Legendary Drops video. We'll link to that down below in the description as well. Great video talking about this, but he said something there at the very tail end, which I want to key in on particularly. The idea that you're in this toxic positivity bubble, right? He later in the video goes on to talk about the press event that was all the people who were glowing about this game all went to this press event. And it's, you know, what you're going to see with that is that it's your traditional mainstream media and like a handful of YouTubers, just like legitimately 4 or 5 YouTubers that create, I would say, evergreen content, not gaming specific content or content that is built around that's built around news, but they're very handpicked specifically to create glowing advertisements, if you will, about this. This is not the first or the last time we're going to see this, Arch, when it comes to a game like Highguard. What have you seen, Arch, from the outside looking in, as somebody who hasn't played this game, about Highguard?
Well, much the same thing, and this is almost certainly just money speaking here. As a lot of companies have kind of started to get this particular point. So back in the day, we had these, and we're talking like 10, 15 odd years ago, we had these invite-only things for the gaming press where I remember a Call of Duty one where they picked up journalists at the airport in helicopters and they flew them around and stuff. Like, wow, Call of Duty. Yep. And this was obviously to influence them. Yeah, that was to influence their opinions and stuff like this, right?
Yep.
And this was community standard, like industry standard. You just did stuff like this. All other industries have done stuff like this, continue to do stuff like this to this day. But we've now kind of moved away from that because the press itself is no longer worth it. The press is either paid directly or they are paid via exclusive access to products. Instead, a lot of the money now goes into the individual people at the companies and influencers. The latest Superman movie was an excellent example of this, I think, where it had strangely little marketing for its marketing budget, but then social media was a fire, like, oh my god, it's so good, for like 3 weeks after the movie was released, and then it stopped. So I simply think that they've moved most of their marketing budget over onto what is now influencer channels, which are the people working at the mainstream media outlets or even YouTubers or people on Twitter. And that's where all of this is coming from. It's not real, it's fake. And some of it might even be like ideological. I did a video today talking about Starfleet Academy, where there was the Mary Sue, very left-wing site, who did a positive review of Starfleet Academy, like 4.5 out of 5, glowing, right? And the entire review is like 6 paragraphs. That's all. So it's so amazing, they have nothing to say about it.
Right. And you think it's something that was so good, you'd want to be able to talk about it at length about it, which goes to your purpose. Now, what's interesting about this is, look, to your point, there's a lot of game articles that are glowing about this game that have nothing to say. To your that are legitimately 4 to 5 paragraphs. It's like, the game is good. I like it so much. It has guns and stuff, and you get to get on a horse. But I want to go back to the response to this, specifically the toxic positivity. And when it comes to Cliff Bleszinski, he had a post that kind of popped off yesterday talking about this. Specifically, Cliff Bleszinski, that name may be familiar to you guys, as he's one of the guys behind Gears of War. The original Gears of War, he made a ton of money from Gears of War, went off, tried to spawn off and do some own games. We'll talk about those shortly. But he said, when did it become so trendy to hate on a new game? Been seeing it more and more in recent years. It's exhausting here. Now, this is one of those things that you see and people go, oh my gosh. It's like all these, YouTubers. We saw this yesterday talking about Vera Dark, the slop tuber. That was the phrase they used about Vera Dark, talking about this game in particular, this Highguard game, the videos that she made about it. And it's almost like this attack on people who have a different opinion about the game or who are skeptical about a game like Highguard. And guess what? The skeptical nature turned out to be right when it came to Highguard here. And Kata, who was just on the show, went in and responded, says, what's exhausting is playing games that are subpar and being gaslighted by idiots into thinking that they're not. Right here. And, the pushback on this says, then don't play the game and move along. He's referring to the absurd hate campaigns of the new age gamer and content creator does. This idea of like a hate campaign. Arch, when you've been critical of a game or anything, have you ever been contacted by other people saying we need to organize some sort of hate campaign against that?
No, I can't say that I have. Because I get the idea from the person's perspective, right? If you've made a thing and you're getting a lot of stick for it, it's easy to try and find excuses that you're being attacked for reason A or reason B, blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, you just made something that was bad, really. That's the easiest possible explanation.
It means people are talking about your poor product. That's what it means. And it's not one of those things where people are like everybody can see what's in front of them. The games are bad. The game is bad. So guess what? Everyone's going to talk about it. It may feel like a campaign, but it's in reality, it's just people noticing it. People noticing how bad it is. Well, Kata was not the only person to respond and really do a good job of driving this point home. Daddy Warpig over on X says, when game developers, studios, publishers, and media started and continued a 15-year-long trend of turning games into vehicles for political propaganda, while at the same time openly hating and verbally abusing the people who bought and played the games, while at the same time the price of games rocketed sky high and the quality of games dropped like a cow letting go in a field. 15 years of the industry hating its audience has led to what one might might call a less than warm relationship between the two. And game players are fed up with the crap. They're fed up with the crap being universally praised by the industry because it pushes the right politics. And they're tired of being told to sit down, shut up, or frack off. Yeah, this right here, I thought was like, this is a really important sentence here. This idea that there's this less than warm relationship between people who make the games and the people who play the games. This has been an ongoing theme for a long time, Arch.
Yeah. And it's also just that the culture around it changed. So you can go back to like the 80s, and everyone was just incredibly excited for every game that was coming out because more often than not, all of the games were really, really good. You knew the next Donkey Kong game was going to be good. You knew the next Mario game was going to be good. You don't have that certainty anymore. And that certainty has very much so been abused out of us over many, many years, where the quality of video games has simply fallen. Like this, I remember I had this this discussion a little while ago. Like, there's nobody out there arguing that games haven't gotten worse. Like, nobody serious is saying that. And yet you have this kind of position where you're trying to shift the blame, because that's what this is. It's not even saying that games haven't gotten worse. It's just like, oh, okay, sure, everything is shit, but, you know, there are people out there being mean. Well, I don't give a fuck about people being mean.
People have been mean for a long time, right? Now more than ever, people just have a voice to provide their opinion, which they didn't have 15 years ago was the start of X, the infancy of it. It wasn't taken as seriously as it is now, and social media as a whole. Going back to Cliff Bleszinski here and him saying, like, why are people hating on games? I don't understand that. He's also the guy who made Lawbreakers. Do you remember Lawbreakers?
Console game, so no.
Yeah, so Lawbreakers, here's the thing, Arch. Nobody remembers Lawbreakers, right? Lawbreakers came out. It came out real quick, and it died very fast. So fast that Boss Key Studios, the company that Cliff Bleszinski started, had to try to make up for that with a game called Radical Heights, which I'm sure you don't remember Radical Heights, but that was actually a PC game. Do you remember Radical Heights?
No, I think I've heard the name, but that's about it.
Radical Heights was a game that was so quickly put together. And I got to be honest, I played a ton of Radical Heights. It died in 34 days. 34 days. It was a symptom of something that you see today where these games are released. And here it is right here from Boss Key Productions. You'd go around. It was a battle royale set in the 80s. And when you won the game, you got the "You're the best around." You got that song, which was actually pretty fun. But it was such a bare bones game when it was released. They just kind of threw it out there, hoping as a last ditch effort that people would take to this game, and people didn't. It did not do very well. Like I said, I actually played this game a lot when it came out. I like the 80s premise of it and such. Was it a super fun game? Not really, but it was like a fun game for right then, if that makes sense. But yeah, it goes back to like Cliffy B is part of the problem with Lawbreakers and then Radical Heights. And then going like, oh, I don't even understand what happened. Why does everybody not like the games over here? As this was pointed out by Thump, says, when you made, this is in response to Cliffy B over here. He says, when you made that slop-ass game, Radical Heights, you were part of the problem, pushing unfinished products that have zero soul and innovation. It's exhausting seeing game devs who were the beginning of the problem being so unaware of the issue that they created here. So there's that. Now, Arch, bringing it all the way back to this just wonderful, wonderful game that we're talking about here, and why the hate that we're talking about here when it comes to God, I keep on it. Like the game is so forgettable, Blast. What's this game called that we keep talking about?
It's called Highguard, but
Okay,
you can just call it
Highguard.
Hightard.
Yeah, I want to like. I keep thinking it's like New Heights or something. It's so forgettable. I
In
keep
the
forgetting
Heights.
the name. Yeah, I mean, I played this game and all. Either way, Kotaku is going. If you recall, a couple days ago, I have said this, and I still don't know if I necessarily believe this because I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here. Jeff Keighley announced Highguard at the end of the Game Awards, right? And I said publicly, I think that Jeff has some sort of stake in the game's success. I don't see why you'd push a game this hard if you didn't have some sort of financial stake in the game. Maybe they didn't pay him for the placement. Apparently they didn't. That's fine. But getting some sort of percentage on the back end makes sense. Well, Kotaku has run cover for Jeff. And they put out an article here saying, Jeff Keighley forced to declare he has no financial stake in Highguard as he is swarmed by unhinged haters. Here we are. Now, this entire article here, Arch, comes down to this interaction, which, by the way, tell me if this interaction seems very unhinged here, as this person tweeted out, "Hey, Jeff Keighley, I was wondering if you financially backed Highguard during development or own some percentage of the company. Obviously, you don't have to answer. Just curious if you have any incentive with Wildlife Entertainment if they hit certain earning thresholds." To which he responded, "Absolutely not." Now, this statement here clearly is unhinged, which is
Yes.
Blabs. Can you see how unhinged Detective Seeds is here?
No.
Oh, me neither. But once again, this is how it is framed by Kotaku here.
Yeah.
Because so unhinged.
It's because it's clickbait, isn't it? It's like, oh God, it's so crazy. And you click on it, it's not crazy.
Yep. Now, let's go back actually. Before the show, Arch, you were talking about how you've seen PC Gamer running cover here when it comes to the toxic positivity of games. This is actually first put out there by Guru Larry. He says, "Oh, that Highguard take is from the same journalist who claimed he was addicted to playing Concord beta for 7 hours and shilled for Assassin's Creed Shadows." This is Morgan Park over at PC Gamer here. To which, in response to this, Kyle came in and just pulled all the receipts from this person, talking about Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Concord, just clapping like a seal when it comes to these new games being released over here, Arch.
Yep.
It's amazing to see.
And this is, again, obviously painful, in my opinion. It's how the companies get their good coverage now. And I don't even believe they pay PC Gamer. I believe they pay him.
That's interesting because having been on both sides of this, I've been on the content creator side, I've been on the Access Media side. I've literally been on both. That's why the Access Media hates me. I've been on both sides of this. I've seen how these deals work. If Morgan Park from PC Gamer is seeing a dime from this, I would be shocked. Now, what I think in reality is happening here is that Morgan Park is trying to either play contrarian or trying to keep his bosses, I guess it's he or her, I don't know this person, their bosses happy, or is just so unbelievably, like they're just happy to be there, right? When it comes to PC Gamer, I have to write positively about these things. It's kind of my shtick, right? I'm guessing that's what it is. I personally don't think this Morgan Park person is seeing any money from it. I mean, if that was exposed, then that would be like that would break things. By the way, Morgan Park is a man apparently, courtesy of PC Gamer. So him. So
Well, it's also like because I remember Stephanie Sterling, to give the correct pronouns, years and years ago, before they went a little bit off the reservation.
yes.
Talked about this extensively on how it worked within the industry and how you had to give positive coverage, otherwise the company at large would be just blacklisted from future efforts, and how the companies also had lists of like trusted reviewers. They knew this guy was going to play ball, non-trusted reviewers, and wild cards who might go either way. And as more and more time, because I remember after after Total Biscuit passed away. I remember his editor did a long video basically explaining like what it was to work for him, etc. And he mentioned that one of the interesting things was that TB, he was probably one of the best video game critics we've ever had, to be fair. He was getting fewer and fewer review keys. And the explanation for that from his editor was quite simply that the companies didn't want an honest review. So they viewed Total Biscuit as the wild card. If he did a good review, that was fantastic. If he did a bad review, it was devastating. And so very often, unless you were sure you had a winner, you simply wouldn't send him a key, because not giving him a key was significantly less damaging than having him be mad at the game.
You are hitting the nail on the head. That's the thing, is the only reason why these companies send out reviews is for marketing. They don't care what you have to say. All they want to do is get your Metacritic score. They want to get your quote that they can put in advertisements and trailers. It's not about the integrity of the game. It's strictly about marketing. And if you're going to give them bad marks, you're 100%, you get ousted very quickly. And once again, been on both sides of that. That is so true, Arch. So true. You nailed it right there. Something that Highguard hasn't nailed is how they want to present their game. Yesterday, when you went to their Steam page, it said, the first sentence said, from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, which, Blabs, that drew you in.
I like Apex Legends.
Yeah, and Titanfall. Yeah. Comes Highguard. Fast forward today, they have now removed that from that sentence right there. From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, to just Highguard is a PvP raid shooter where players will rule or will ride. There we go. So they've entirely removed that. That is interesting, to say the least. And you wonder if that was a legal thing. Maybe EA was coming after them for saying Apex Legends and Titanfall here.
And I just went to the Steam page to double check that that's actually what it says, and it's correct. It says it's completely gone, that entire statement. That's wild.
There we go.
I love it, though. Mostly negative reviews. 37% of the 20,144 users reviewed for this game are positive. Only 37% are positive.
Wow.
That's wild.
That is wild. That is wild. And I don't know if we've ever seen a game like this before. This is a truly unique experience. What are the Steam charts right now? How many people are playing this game now, Blabs?
Let's go look, shall we? Okay, go near. Let's see. Highguard. All right, there are currently 11,000 people in the game.
What?
Wow.
Oh my god.
You gotta see this visual though, because that just really shows it. Here it is. Womp,
my gosh. That is
11,000 in game right now of Highguard.
That is a neat dip.
That is shocking. Like legitimately shocking. Not even like a casual decline, just straight to the ground. Oh my gosh, they have to be panicking over there at that studio. Jeez Louise. This is what, 36 hours later, 2 days later?
Yeah,
and
about
it's been
48 hours.
The player base has been cut by 90%. That's unreal. Unreal. Never seen anything like that before. Crazy. All right.
See, here's the thing, though. Like, some people are trying to debate which one's worse, Concord or Highguard. But Concord was able to sell some copies for $40, you know? So, like, I don't know which one's the worst fill. People paid for that one, you know? I'm curious to see how many people actually paid for any cosmetics or skins or any of that stuff in Highguard.
Well, I'm sure some people have, just because they want to get in. Like, I paid for that Radical Heights game. I bought a lifetime pass for that, which lasted 37 days.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like, oh man, that sucks. Got another video for you right here. Go and watch it. It's a good one.